Yeah, eat, sleep, fantasy, you rockin' with the best. NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We talking mock drafts, running backs, better follow the conversation with
John,
Dale, Christian, and Armando. Screaming Eat Nation, we doing what we like. Tune in every week, guarantee we get it hype. Fantasy, football enthusiasts, I know you plan to be joining us on Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Yeah, Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Eat, Sleep, Fantasy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Eat, Sleep, Fantasy Football Podcast, the XFL edition. I will talk a little bit about the Super Bowl for those interested, because it is a Sunday if you're listening to it in time. But if not, you're going to enjoy myself, Dale DeMott, with my buddy KJ Bannock. What's up, KJ?
What's up, guys? What's up, Dale?
This is going to be a fun one, man. We are going to break down basically everything you need to know about all the teams. We're going to break down the teams, and then we're just going to give you some key players on each team. So that should get you kind of ready for understanding if you're in a fantasy league, like a redraft type, or if you're doing DFS. Hopefully this is going to give you some kind of understanding to these teams and how they're constructed. We're also going to talk about the listener league. That's going to be fun. We're going to pick the final. We're not going to pick it because I said the first person to respond to the email gets it. So I'm going to announce that after we're done with the breakdowns. KJ, he did a draft already for the XFL. He's going to talk about the craziness on that one. And maybe we'll talk a little bit of draft strategy for the XFL because it's, let's see, the season is starting right after the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, the week after. It's the Saturday after the Super Bowl.
Right.
So, we get a week to. I mean, there's. I guess there's no down week. We're just going from football to football.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's why I'm most excited. I apologize in advance. I am fighting a little bit of cold, but that doesn't mean I won't bring the fire today.
Yeah, he's just got a little coronavirus. No big deal.
Yeah. I do want to say a couple things. One, we were going to plan to post a podcast earlier in the week to give you guys more stuff, but everything with Kobe Bryant, the tragedy. KJ and I just. One, I wasn't really feeling up for getting on the microphone and cracking jokes, and two, I just completely just not feeling it. So I don't know, how everybody else is doing or whatever, but pretty devastating news, man.
Dude, it hit hard. I'm not the biggest basketball NBA guy, but Kobe. Like growing up, I mean, we're a little older, so growing up, I watched like Stockton, Malone, Jordan, but I still wasn't the biggest basketball person. I didn't have a basketball team, like a major team in my area growing up. So when Kobe came to the league and Shaq, there was just something about him that just drew me to the game, and just his work ethic and everything about him. I mean, we hear about Jordan and all that stuff, and I get it. Jordan was amazing, the best, but Kobe just changed it for me, and he was the first player in any sport, really, even football, that I watched to watch him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, watching, I never really cared about the Lakers, but when they were in the finals, I was always rooting for them just because I love Kobe. The family stuff really got to me because, I have a new family. I have 2 young daughters, so that got to me probably more than, than it would have, a couple years ago. So it's, it was pretty crazy, man. So anyways, it is what it is, I guess. I don't really, not too much more to say about it than that. I'm sure you guys have heard and read everything on ESPN and every single news channel ever this whole week. It's pretty crazy, all the tributes and all that stuff. So
yeah, I honestly didn't even believe it when it happened. I was like, no. It took me. It didn't matter. It was like, yes, I mean, everything like you said, and I still was in shock. I still did not believe it. It was weird. And I guess I'm slightly different than most when it comes to death and tragedy and stuff like that. And, I'm always that person that's like, okay, they passed away, but let's embrace their life and their legacy and whether it's my grandfather or, my grandmother, grandfather, dogs, whoever, just let's enjoy what they brought to us. But this was different because it's just I couldn't grasp it. I couldn't pull on to it. But anyways, I mean, let's I don't even know how like you. I don't know even know how to end it and move on other than just saying XFL time, I guess. I mean,
okay, look, I got a pretty good transition here.
Okay.
Because back in the day, Christian and I used to do a segment called Grind My Gears. It's kind of rip off of the Family Guy. You know what grinds my gears? And we would say something like that would piss us off that day or whatever. So the other day, this is kind of a segment leading into that. And I will bring it back to Kobe because it does relate. So this is how it all comes together. I passed a car, and all over the car it was written, Girl Scout Cookie Mama, buy your Girl Scout cookies, $4 a box. And then like on the side windows, it was like hashtag Cookie Mama. And it's like, where? First of all, this lady was probably like around my age. Me and you, KJ, we're in our upper 30s, right?
Yep.
So, 36, 37, 38. And we are all blamed for, or we're blaming, who's to blame with this participation trophy stuff? I don't know if it's our generation or not, but I feel like this lady, this is just like a participation trophy. Like, what happened to the girls just selling cookies, going door to door or doing their stuff, and then, getting the rewards. But now you have this mom that's traveling across the state and probably, slinging it at her job and all this stuff. When did all this stuff happen? I feel like this is like the participation trophy Girl Scout cookies.
Dude, I don't know. I mean, I remember in Pop Warner football, right? I remember having to sell those damn chocolate candy bars. And my mom, there's no way in hell my mom was going to sell those for me. She was like, get your ass out there and go. I don't even care. I'm not going to watch you. I'm not going to follow you. You just go. I mean, if I lose you, I lose you. This is life. Like, get out there, sell candy bars. And
yeah.
And I was like, man, I sold a lot. And I remember going, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll win the prize because I won. If you sell more, you could do things. These Girl Scout cookies, it's getting ridiculous where if they sell so much, they could go on vacation to Hawaii and all these things.
Right.
And it's absurd.
It's great cruises.
So now
and
parents are like, let's do it. I want to go. I mean, hell, if I was going to Hawaii, I think my mom might have been selling stuff. But
right, sure. Yeah, but you're getting a stupid little football patch or something.
I'm getting a helmet because we can't afford one.
So yeah, I mean, so just passing this card just made me think, it's like, what the hell's going on? And then it started, of course, because this happened, like, I passed it like the day after the Kobe Bryant tragedy. So I was like kind of obviously trying to connect to it automatically. And I was thinking like, Kobe Bryant, he's not out there, working for his daughter, the Gigi who played basketball. He was there coaching her and teaching her how to do it, and she was doing it herself. And that's like, why can't, Girl Scout cookies or whatever, there's so many people that are just doing it for their kids when they could just be coaching them and getting them through and learning life skills. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're right. I always say that in my job or anyone's job, when you're a leader, do not do something for anybody. Just give them the tools and let them do it. And they'll always learn and they'll always be better for it. So I always, as a manager of anything I've ever done, and if there was anyone below me, I would just, again, these are the tools. I will help you out, but hands-on, get the tools, get dirty, get your hands out there, and if you make a mistake, that's fine. That you learn, continue going. If you don't sell all the cookies, sell them next year. Figure a way, and that's how I was raised, at least. Yep.
Yeah, if you're not selling enough, you got to hustle more. Go door to door, do what you got to do. Go business to business. But, like, don't have the moms, go online and start a Facebook page and, go across country trying to sell these things off the back of your car. It's crazy. But that was my big thing. I was like, I cannot believe where this is going.
Yeah, but so everybody, this is about the XFL today. Just to give them a heads up, this is still going to be about the XFL.
So this is the XFL is the Girl Scout cookie. I can't even do it.
Are they the Girl Scout cookie of the NFL? Wait, what
would the NFL be?
Yeah, exactly. What, like? Oh, I don't know. They can't be because Girl Scout cookies are delicious. So the NFL they're the Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, the NFL's the Girl Scout cookies. You're right.
Maybe the NFL's the Keebler Elves.
There you go.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right, let's talk. Let's get into it. The Eastern Conference, KJ. We'll start off with the New York Guardians. Wait, who's your team again? Who'd you say your team was? The Battlehawks, right?
St. Louis Battlehawks.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start in the Eastern Conference. You also have the Battlehawks, but let's talk about the Guardians first. New York Guardians. Head coach Kevin Gilbride. What do you know about him?
He's a New York guy. He coached the Giants. He was the offensive coordinator when the Giants took down the mighty Patriots twice.
Okay.
He's never been an NFL head coach, but an offense coordinator the whole time. He has a very traditional style of coaching, and yeah, he's that guy that really helped the Giants get to that Super Bowl, helped Eli Manning, helped the running game to get to that Super Bowl with the style of play. And as we look at the team coming up, they're very similar to the Giants in their positioning, how big their backs are, the size of their wide receivers, the type of quarterback. So I think he's going to do a decent job. Again, because this is like a fantasy base, I haven't really dove into the defensive side of it. So I can't tell you that the New York Guardians are going to be amazing because their defensive ways and how they're coaching. But with Kevin Gilbride and the offense, it's going to be interesting, and I feel like this is going to possibly catapult some of these players the ability to make that leap to the NFL.
Yeah. The players that he has, you have some notable guys that you might recognize, and this is kind of what we're going to do is just go through the key players. But Mac McGloin, who you guys may have heard, he started in Oakland for a few games. I mean, he was probably pretty much what you expect, right? An undrafted guy starting in the NFL, not great. What was it? I think you have here 11 touchdowns, 11 interceptions in his 4 years. So that is what it is. But don't discount the fact that Matt McGloin and a lot of these quarterbacks have had some NFL experience. I think that's going to go a long way because they understand the speed, at least the NFL speed. They've played against the best. So they're going to understand concepts and what to do to be successful a lot quicker, I think, than maybe some guys coming right out of college or some people with not a lot of NFL experience. What do you think?
I think you hit it right on the spot, right on the head there. So these quarterbacks, we're going to get to a couple quarterbacks have not had NFL experience, and you're going to see a big difference in that because of the way they're going to read the teams and read the zone or read the man, the way the defense sets up, and just by being in an NFL quarterback room. I mean, you could be on the practice squad, you could be the third backup, but you're still in that room learning, and you're still watching that film with the starter possibly or with the coaches. You're breaking it down because, the NFL, it's always about that next man up. If a guy goes down, next man up takes your spot, and you keep going. That's why the Patriots have always been so good. They always had that next man up ready. So you're going to see a big difference. But, yeah, McGloin, I mean, a lot of these quarterbacks also were pretty damn good in college. McGloin had a school record 46 touchdowns for PSU throwing. Now, a lot of this breakdown when I'm talking about school records, I have not checked to see if they still stand. Most of them do. I know for a fact most of them do, but I haven't checked on every single one of them. But at the time, when he graduated, he had the most touchdown passes ever by a Penn State quarterback. So that says something.
Yeah, that does. I mean, the dude has talent. It's where is it going to convert? And what's crazy is, you could be a mediocre quarterback, and we don't know yet, but you could be a mediocre quarterback in the NFL and somehow have the exact skill set made for the XFL,
Well, the other thing, too, is at the very end, when we start going, after we go over some of these guys, we have a list here of players who were in different leagues, who have gone to the NFL after those leagues. And, I knew some of them. We all know some of them. But then going through it, it surprised me on a couple of them. And this might, again, be that extra step. They might have been in the NFL, and it wasn't for them. They came back here, and then it just was like, I get it. I finally get it. It clicks. And they just need that one chance. So, yeah, we're gonna hear some really big names who did not ever go to the NFL until they had that second chance in the CFL or the AAF or the USFL or NFL Europe.
Right. Okay,
so moving on from Matt McGloin, though, so we have I tried breaking down the main running back and a couple of wide receivers, and just like that Giants team, they have a running back named Tim Cook on the Guardians, and he's like that Brandon Jacobs, that bruising back that fits perfectly in the Gilbride offense. I didn't look to see. A lot of these teams are doing a committee. They're not going to have that one main back, but Tim Cook is that big. It has that big body, so he has that going for him as well.
All right, and then we have two wide receivers, D'Angelo Yancey out of Purdue and McKaylee McKay. Is that how you say his name? I think it is.
Another wide receiver. McKay.
McCallie.
He's a huge AAF guy. I don't know about you. I didn't really watch AAF, which is, no. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know. When you got Trent Richardson as your main dude, I don't know. I wasn't excited. But this dude, apparently, he's 6'4". He's at Plax. You got Plaxico Burress now. He's at 6'4", big-bodied wide receiver. You know, he led the AAF in red zone targets. He was 7th in yards, 3rd in TDs. But he's that get-up-and-go-get-it kind of guy. And D'Angelo Yancey, I remember him in Green Bay. I do remember him in Green Bay. But that fizzled out. You're going to hear a lot of these players just fizzled out because of injuries, and you're going to see that. And this is their second chance, I believe. Reading
over the list, and I'm a pretty big, NFL stats guy. Like, I recognize a lot of these names, but some of them, I'm going through. I'm like, okay, I know him, like Matt McGloin, stuff like that. So I'm going through, and then it's like, oh yeah, I think I've heard of him. Oh yeah, I remember him. Like you really start going really in the back of your mind, be like, oh yeah, okay, that was like 5 years ago, and he started a couple games. I remember that. And
he was just bagging groceries in the meantime, and then he came back.
Yeah. All right, let's go to your team, buddy. The St. Louis Battlehawks.
Number 1 team in the East, right there. Battlehawks, baby. Let's see. Head coach Jonathan Hayes began under Bob Stoops. He was under Marvin Lewis. Not many accolades. Sorry, right. Jonathan Hayes. I mean, we're gonna move on from you pretty quick. Hopefully, you bring us to the championship.
You already asking for a new coach?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, you see these coaches and we get Jonathan Hayes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Again,
right.
John, we're on a first name basis. Sorry, John. But I am excited about the key players. I really am excited about these guys. Jordan, how do you spell it? How do you say his last name?
Tamu? Yeah.
It's not Tiamu, right? It's Tamu. Jordan Tamu. Probably should look this up. So I remember watching him in college, and when he played for Mississippi, I mean, I thought he was great. I liked watching him. I got excited when I saw him. Again, not an NFL-style quarterback, not an NFL quarterback. Hasn't really, touched the NFL, and we might see that. But I'm thinking when you get a scrambling quarterback, you're going to be a lot better in the XFL. Call me crazy, but what we're seeing in the NFL is going to start translating over, and you're going to see more and more of it. And Jordan is like that. He has over 5,600 total yards in college, 30 TDs, so only 12 interceptions. I think he's going to be fine. I'm excited to watch him play, honestly.
All right. They have two big name, I guess. Big name for XFL, I guess. They have Christine Michael and Matt Jones. Matt Jones, you remember, from the University of Florida. Two nice running backs here for the St. Louis Battlehawks.
Some of the best. Michael is ranked number 1. If you go by the rankings, you could find him online. Everyone has, Michael as the top running back. We've seen him play. We've seen him have that opportunity of he could be something. And I remember drafting him in fantasy leagues of just NFL in late rounds as sleepers, and it just never panned out for him. So here we go.
Now, my mind initially went to, hey, he had over 4 yards of carry in the NFL. What could he do in the XFL? But then you also have to remember, he's playing against XFL defenses, but he has an XFL offensive line as well. So that kind of maybe evens out.
Yeah, I feel like the XFL is going to be they do kind of even out, I would say. I don't know who would get the advantage, right? It's like playing in bad weather. Your wide receiver has advantage because they know where they're going. So
right. Sure.
Does the I don't know. I feel like the XFL is going to have like that thing where it's going to be more of that big break play style. So it's going to be exciting. Sure. If these guys hit a hole, they're gone. And you're going to see that make or break kind of play style. You're going to see as many negative carries as you will see 10-plus carries, I believe.
All right. And, Matt Jones is a beast as well. But he did lose his job to Robert Kelly in Washington.
Yeah, I remember him. I can't remember if he was more of like a straight-up runner. I believe that was Matt Jones. And he was quick. He was fast. I remember watching the game where he, blew up. There was one game where he blew up. Again, he got another guy that got injured. Robert Kelly came in the NFL. you get that one chance. You don't. It's hard to come back from if you lose it. And he was one of them that lost his opportunity, and he's moved on to the XFL. Their number one wide receiver, Terrence Williams. Everyone knows that name.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the problem is he's just a little on the old side, right? I mean,
compared to these players, yeah.
And the dude's like in his 30s now, probably. He is in his 30s, isn't he?
Has. I mean, yeah. So let's see. He was in Baylor. Terrence Williams. Yeah, his quarterback in Baylor was Griffin.
Yep. Yeah.
I remember Robert Griffin was his quarterback in Baylor.
Terrence Williams is 30 years old.
Yeah, because that year when he was with Baylor, it says he led the nation with yards. I mean, he has good NFL stats too. Like, I mean, they're not great, but they were good. He was that player in Dallas where everyone wanted him to step up, and he just never did.
Yep.
I don't know if it was what it was. I don't know if he was like that practice superstar, but just in game sort of fell flat. But
yeah.
I mean,
so Battlehawks are looking pretty good. They
that's
have
a good team.
at least
I like
a few big names there. They're ready to go. The other team in the East is the Tampa Bay Vipers. You're going to recognize this name, the head coach, Mark Trestman. Pretty interesting.
Okay, I did not know Mark Trestman was this good. It's hard to say good because I remember him at the very end of what you would say would be his coaching career in the NFL, and it was not good. But as an offense coordinator, sometimes, you might just top out, and you could be an amazing OC and not be a good head coach. Right. So we'll see how this goes. But so Trestman, if no one knew this, he really is. This blew my mind. I did not know this. He's a QB whisperer. That's what says he is. He was the quarterback coach for Bernie Kosar in college. Like Bernie Kosar.
Yeah.
This dude is old. I mean, I think, let me see. I think I wrote down he was in World War II. No, he was not. But I feel like he's that old. Like,
yeah. He is 64.
Well,
he played for the Vikings in 1979.
Yeah.
And then in the early 80s, he was in Miami.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. He's been around too. So okay, he coached for Bernie Kosar, and in college, not for Cleveland. It was in college, and that was the year they won the national championship. Then he went to Cleveland with Kosar again, and they made the playoffs. Cleveland playoffs. They don't go together. He was on there. He made the playoffs. Quarterback coach in San Fran, where the team led the NFL in points scored, pass attempts, and passing yards. He was a QB coach in Detroit. He made Scott Mitchell, I don't know if you remember that name, he made him look like a star. Scott Mitchell ended with the fourth most passing yards ever in a season by a Detroit line at the time. Let's see. Moving on. He went to Arizona, worked with Jake Plummer. We all know that name, too. Ended up in the playoffs with Arizona when they were really nothing. Went to Oakland after that with Rich Gannon. What happened? He won a Super Bowl with them. Never the head coach, but the offensive coordinator and working with quarterbacks, he was great. And in 2007, he became a consultant for Sean Payton. A lot of people don't know that. Sean Payton, as I've been looking this up, Sean Payton says a lot about a lot of good things about Mark Trestman and how much he's helped that offense. And Sean Payton the offense is great. He's an offensive guru. So,
Yep. I mean, you look at kind of Matt Forte, what he did for Matt Forte's career in Chicago. Pretty good stuff. So Mark Trestman has a good quarterback to start with here. Aaron Murray out of Georgia. Very serviceable quarterback, I feel like.
I don't understand everything I'm reading. Aaron Murray was ranked 8th out of the 8 starting quarterbacks. And going through the list, I don't see how that's possible because I remember he was good in Georgia. I remember watching it.
Yeah.
He passed both of the Mannings and Stafford in the SEC for career TDs.
That's crazy.
The guy was big.
Yeah.
And I thought he was a Heisman hopeful for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Who was the I'm trying to think of the big wide receiver he had in Georgia at the time. I can't think of him. It'll come to me probably after this thing's over, but Aaron Murray's good though.
All right, what about who else here?
I don't really know this running back. Devion Smith. Sorry, Devion.
You're going to have a lot of Michigan fans really mad at you.
Sorry, Michigan fans. Hey, Michigan's cool. I went to the Final Four at NCAA a long time ago when it was Syracuse, Michigan, Louisville, and Wichita State. And I will tell you, Michigan fans were awesome. So hopefully they don't hate me anymore.
Okay. Really quick, Aaron Murray is. Never mind. I'm getting misinformation here. I should probably do research before I just say what I'm going to do.
That's what makes this podcast great. We don't do any research. We just read off pieces of paper that someone handed us.
Yep. All right. What else do we have here? Antonio Callaway, of course. Go Gators. You guys all know him because he played for the University of Florida. Super fast guy.
Does everyone that played for the University of Florida have off-field concerns other than Tim Tebow?
Yes.
Okay, because he's one of them. All right.
Yeah, they all do.
Okay.
That's our specialty, though. We get damaged goods and we mold them to be champions.
You used to mold them.
Yeah. Now they just do whatever they want and
yeah.
murder people. So Antonio Callaway, kind of a big name, but yeah, he definitely has off-field concerns. And then we have the tight end Nick Truesdell. He was one of the best in the AAF. So is the AAF going to convert well to the XFL?
I feel like it's more about the
NFL?
coaching.
Yeah,
It's going to be all about the coaching. Some coaches are going to utilize the tight end. Some aren't. I mean, just like the NFL, you have, sadly, O.J. Howard this year. You have all these yards by Winston. Where the hell is Howard? So Bruce Arians doesn't really use him as much, and I think the same thing's going to happen with the XFL. This guy, I hope they use him. I mean, I don't have many tight ends listed as key players. He's one of them. I think I have 3 listed. He's one of them. Like you said, top tight end, 24 catches on 27 targets. And, yeah, he was – the IFL. He played in indoor football. I was wondering what IFL stood for. Yeah, the Indoor Football League. I mean, in one season, indoor football, he's a tight end, but a tight end, like indoor football, you're a two-way player. So I believe he was like a linebacker tight end. And he had 80 catches. I don't know how many games they played. 80 catches for 977 yards in like a small field and 23 touchdowns. I feel like
crazy.
that's a crazy number.
Yeah, that is a crazy number.
He's going to be like the Kurt Warner of tight ends.
All right. Next team here, DC Defenders. You know this name. I'm sure you do. Pep Hamilton.
Good old Pep.
He coached Andrew Luck in Stanford and in Indy.
Yeah, and now he has good old Cardale Jones.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like that is a household name if you watched college football. Won a national championship with Ohio State. He was the backup to Braxton Miller and J.T. Barrett, and when they both went down and moved on, he took over. And it's one of those things where it's like, all right, Ohio State's on their third quarterback at the time. Cardale Jones still came in. He wasn't amazing, but he's a winner. Like he figures out how to play. He figures out how to get the open man or extend that play, I should say. And when he extends it, stuff happens. So I mean, he was going to be my first overall pick in my draft, and I failed on that one. I'm glad because I don't want him in a first overall pick after I've researched this, but yep.
Yeah. We also have a running back that sparks some memories, Donnell Pumphrey.
Yeah, let's see.
Does he do anything for you?
Yeah, I remember Pumphrey was an Eagle. Yeah. He was an Eagle.
Yeah.
And that was the time when they were, I swear, that was the season that I think you could pick up maybe 6 Eagle running backs in fantasy.
Yeah.
And no one knew what was going to stick and what wasn't. He was one of them. The dude is 67 total TDs in college, 6,400 yards. He passed Ron Dane, and injuries apparently the Eagles gave up because of injuries.
Yeah,
just like a lot of these players, and this is their second chance because of injuries, and hopefully they're going to shine and move on.
Yeah, and he's still young. I mean, he's only 25 years old, so it feels like he's older than that. It feels like it was a few seasons ago, but he's only 25. So,
well, I think the thing he's going to have to deal with is the other running back is Jarrell Presley.
Sure.
is ranked the number 2, 1A, 1B to Michael on the best running back in the XFL. He was the best running back in the AAF. If you don't count Trent Richardson had the most touchdowns, had the most carries, did not have the most yards. He had under 3 yards a carry in the AAF. Like, Presley was a better running back. I mean, he was a good running back in college. Almost 3,000 total, or 3,000 rushing yards, 36 TDs. I mean, Presley is the real deal, and he's one of those running backs that we might truly see move on and get a role in the NFL after this year.
Yeah. And, of course, Eli Rogers, we all know, ex-Pittsburgh Steeler, speedy, fast guy, could work really well with Cardell Jones.
I had Eli Rogers on my dynasty team this year, actually. That's how crazy this is. In the very, very beginning, I drafted Deontay Johnson and picked up every wide receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers other than Juju. Like, someone's going to step in.
Yeah.
And sadly, I got rid of all of them because no one stepped in.
Yeah. All right, next team, we're looking at the Dallas Renegades. Head coach, formidable, really good head coach, Bob Stoops. He went 4 championship appearances with Oklahoma, but only won 25% of those.
That sounds better than winning 1. Does
yeah,
it?
I was trying to make it sound better. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
25% winning.
Right.
25% is better than 1 for sure.
So one thing about statistics is you could always make it sound better than it is. You could always make it sound worse.
Of course, yeah.
So that's why I don't trust statistics. So
Nope, never trust statistics. numbers lie.
Yeah, numbers lie. The internet does not, so I go with that.
So the cool thing about Bob Stoops coaching this team is he has Landry Jones, one of his former quarterbacks in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, he was good. Not just former quarterbacks. Like, he was good. Landry Jones was good in college. You know, in Pittsburgh, didn't work out so well, but in college, he killed it. He was 64% completion percentage, 16,000 yards, or over 123 TDs. Like, this guy was good. I mean, he went to 1 championship. They did not win it in 2009, I believe. I'm almost positive they were in the championship in 2009.
They were, but I don't think – was that Landry Jones in 2009?
Yes, and Stoops. Did they lose the year to Florida?
They lost to Florida. Oh, no, okay, because it was the wait, hold on. We played Sam Bradford in the national championship game in 2000. Was that the second one, maybe?
Oh, Landry Jones took over for Bradford. Bradford got injured one year.
Definitely Sam Bradford was in the championship game because I went and I saw Sam Bradford play. Huh. I'm almost positive. I could be.
I think he did too. I mean, Bradford was he was amazing as well. But again, Bradford underneath Bob Stoops. Bob Stoops, yeah, everyone's excited for Bob Stoops because of that Oklahoma air raid offense that they've had that is exciting, and the difference in skill level between the XFL and college might not be much. So this Dallas Renegades, they could be really exciting to watch. One thing we did not pick are the teams we dislike the most. Dallas Renegades is my pick. One. I'm picking them. Dallas. I'm a Bills fan. Dallas, anything, screw you. Sorry.
Really? Okay.
All you Dallas fans, hate me as much as you want. I can't. Dallas, nope.
So just to back that up, I think Landry was the Sam Bradford's backup in 2009, it looks like. Sam Bradford did play in that championship game in 2009. I'm pretty sure Landry Jones was a backup, it looks like. But regardless, geez. Hold on, is it?
You know what? The internet lies, and I'm wrong. So I thought the internet didn't lie.
Yeah, the internet always lies, just like numbers. The payout for that championship game was $17.5 million per team to each conference.
I'm so glad that the players got some.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, Tim Tebow, greatest college football player of all time.
What?
All right.
What?
Okay. That's a whole other debate. I know it shouldn't be a debate, but some people
It shouldn't be. I mean, dude, you got players you got players that people forget. A guy named, just bring up, a guy named Charlie Ward. People forget that guy.
Yeah.
He's amazing. I mean, greatest college football player of all time. We're getting off topic, but you couldn't stop Reggie Bush.
You couldn't stop Tim Tebow.
You know what? You're right. You can't stop Tim Tebow. You could not stop Tim Tebow. And both teams had, I was going to say, but Reggie Bush didn't have people around him, which is bullshit that he did. I mean, yeah.
But Tim Tebow also had Percy Harvin, had a world-class defense.
They both had people around him.
Yeah. It was an all-time team that he had working with him in 2009. But okay, let's keep going to the Dallas Renegades. So you have Landry Jones, running back that I'm sure you remember, Cameron Artis-Payne, formerly of the Carolina Panthers. Not a bad backup for the Panthers, just didn't make the cut. He had first-team All-SEC honors, and it's just over 4 yards per carry.
He was another guy that was on my fantasy team at one point in my life.
Yeah, mine too. And it was who was it? When Jonathan Stewart was on the team, everybody knew Jonathan Stewart was going to get hurt eventually, right? Am I thinking right?
Yeah. It was Jonathan Stewart. Well, they're the two running backs. It was Jonathan Stewart.
D'Angelo Williams.
And D'Angelo and Williams. Yeah. I feel like they got drafted, Stewart got drafted after Payne. Payne's always been like that second guy that just never got to the first team, and then someone else came in and beat him out again. You know, he's like that Duke Johnson that always wants a chance, and then Carlos Hyde just keeps following him and beating him. So,
they have Jeff Bedett out of Kentucky and Oklahoma as a wide receiver. They have Jazz. This sounds like a fake name. Wide receiver Jazz Ferguson.
Jazz. Good old Jazz. See, like when the XFL said we had Jazz Ferguson, a lot of people got excited for it. I remember on Twitter seeing things on Facebook about Jazz Ferguson, and I had to look him up. I remember the name. Very tall wide receiver, 6'5", and apparently he was really good coming out of high school, going to LSU, and he just had off-field problems. Odd, I know, and he failed a drug test, and he moved on, and he's supposed to be the real deal. We'll see. This is, again, I mean, he's like the Gordon of the XFL, apparently.
Okay, cool. 6'5", big guy.
Yeah.
And they also have Donald Parham. Parham. Okay. Big tight end.
I selected it. So this was the only good selection I believe I had. I got so excited. I'm like, I'm going to take the first tight end. Like Truesdale we talked about was great. Parham, though, no. The XFL has played scrimmages. If you keep up with that and watch them, or not watch them, but watch the highlights and read about them, Donald Parham was a wrecking ball out there. The guy is 6'8", 237 as a tight end. I wrote down he was called. I was reading about this guy because it was just I never heard the name, and as I was going down this rabbit hole, it kept getting more and more exciting. This guy is a beast. He went to Stetson College. His senior season in Stetson College, he had 85 catches, 1,300 yards, 13 TDs as a tight end. Never drafted. I mean, he got signed by Detroit and then Washington. He went to the XFL. But in the Washington training camp, he had a great preseason, and one of the coaches called him a gazelle-like at 6'8". This guy's going to be I'll put money down he's the top tight end in the league. I mean, nice. So I'm excited to see him.
Stetson College is in a small town, DeLand, Florida. I applied, and I did not get in, so fuck them. I mean, my super low SAT scores and my really low GPA combined, I guess, wasn't enough for their prestigious school. But they made a big mistake.
It's in Florida. I did not know that.
Yep,
wow.
Yep. Kind of near Orlando, kind of, in Central Florida. Close to Central Florida. But, all right. Now we're going in. Is this... we are in the West now, aren't we? This is...
oh, yeah. I didn't write that down, did I? Yeah, we are now... That is the end of the Eastern Conference. Wait. Yep. Yeah, obviously. We're going to L.A. We're out West.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So the L.A. Wildcats, guy that coached under Mike McCarthy in Green Bay, Winston Moss is the head coach for the LA Wildcats.
Yeah, really nothing. Sorry, Winston, nothing to add on that. Yay, Winston. The only time I added an offensive coordinator was under Winston Moss. Because I read Winston Moss, was like, I have no idea who this is. Under Mike McCarthy, cool. And then when I read the offensive coordinator name, I was like, all right, okay, I could get with this. Norm Chow.
Norm Chow.
Norm Chow. Like, again, just like Trestman, right? Yeah, I had to look back. Yeah, just like Trestman, with his quarterback guru coaching, and a lot of these offensive coordinators in this league, if it's not the OC, it's the head coach, had something to do with developing quarterbacks. And quarterbacks are getting paid the most in this league too, more than anyone else, that position, because it's like set contracts. And they want to develop quarterbacks more than just coming right out of college, because the quarterbacks control the game. We all know this. This guy has helped coach 8 of the top 14 career passing efficient leaders and 13 quarterbacks who rank among the top 30 in NCAA history for single season passing yards. I mean, I was on this list. There's Steve Young, Phillip Rivers, Carson Palmer. Norm Chow's been around. He knows the game. He knows how to get the best out of his quarterbacks. So this could be, and looking at his quarterback, he's going to have to get the best out of this guy quick.
Yeah. All right. So luckily, Josh Johnson, old man Josh Johnson. This is probably one of the bigger names. Would you say Josh Johnson might be for NFL play or for NFL fantasy guys? Josh Johnson might be the most recognizable, maybe. I don't know.
I think that
he's played with every single team.
Our age, our age, Josh Johnson, that and maybe like Terrence Williams, because they're older.
Yeah,
Josh Johnson would probably be number one. Terrence Williams too. With the younger guys, I don't know if they really remember Josh Johnson, because he, he played in that. I mean, I was surprised when I was reading this. He's 33 years old. He's played in the NFL for 11 seasons? Yeah, 11 seasons.
His first win as a starter came during his 11th season. You have written here. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, his first one was in his 11th season. How about this one? So I also
his first win as a starter.
First win as a starter, correct. Most NFL experiences of any quarterback, which we know that. Question for you, Dale: how many NFL teams did Josh Johnson play for?
I'm going to guess 8.
That was closer than I thought you were going to guess. If you asked me, I would have been like, 4. I don't know. He played for 11 different teams.
That's crazy.
That's a lot. It's like
that is.
It's him. He's number 2 behind Fitzpatrick for the
That's
most teams.
Almost half the teams. Like you can literally say you've almost played for half the teams in the
Wait,
NFL.
did Fitzpatrick actually play for 11 teams? I don't think he's even at 11.
I don't think Fitzpatrick is.
I feel like he is, but I don't think so.
I'll tell you in a couple of minutes. Anyways, my favorite running back in the XFL, and I don't know why I'm picking him, but I think it's going to be Elijah Hood.
Wait, this is your favorite?
I think so.
Huh.
I don't know why. My gut's telling me that Elijah Hood, and he's fast. And I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina now. He went to high school in Charlotte, then he went to UNC, so maybe that has something to do with it. But the dude is fast. He had a kind of a bad break with a really bad injury in the NFL that kind of derailed everything, right? I don't know. I think his speed might be really, really useful in the XFL. I don't know. I just have this gut feeling. I think Elijah Hood is going to be like the guy I plant my flag on.
Really, that's interesting. I mean, I didn't see that personally. I didn't see that coming. I didn't really. I don't know Elijah Hood that well. I mean, you're that area, I guess. I've heard of Elijah Hood. I remember him slightly, but that's it. Like, I didn't even realize he was that fast. I mean, this is this might be that guy that you would get in DFS, and this is that guy that might catapult you to the money.
Look, the first week of DFS, and maybe we'll go over this in the next podcast. The first week are just really dart throws, and for me, it's going to be. I'll bet on speed over everything. Like until I figure out exactly how this is all playing out, I'm going to look for the fastest quarterback, the youngest and the fastest quarterback. I'm going to look for the fastest running back, the fastest wide receivers.
100%. It was all speed. It's
and,
big game.
And see what happens.
Big game probability. That's what I was going to go for the same thing. And we could put together a good lineup with that going from what we've already read.
Yeah.
And LA and the next guy. Well, before we go on to the next guy, this was one of the most interesting things I've read in reviewing all these players. Poor Elijah Hood. I read in an article that Washington cut Elijah Hood 3 hours after showing up to his first ever practice for Washington.
That's tough.
Not Washington, Carolina. I'm sorry,
Carolina, right?
His wife or girlfriend at the time dropped him off, said good luck. He went in there, practiced, and the exact same practice. He showered, all that stuff. Got brought in the coach's office, and Elijah Hood said that he had to take over for the coach and cut himself. Reading this was great.
That's crazy.
I'm reading. I'm like, I had to read it again. So the coach apparently felt so bad he couldn't even come to terms with cutting, like saying it out loud that you're no longer, part of this team, this franchise. And he goes, I'm really sorry, Elijah. This is hard for me. And he just kept saying, and Elijah was like, I got it. I'm not part of the team anymore, and thank you. And the guy's like, yeah. That was it.
That's crazy. That's a good story. That's pretty nuts. Elijah Hood, my MVP. There you go.
All right, there you go. And
I might get an Elijah Hood jersey. Look, I'm a big
Whoa, you're not an LA fan.
I'm a Seattle Dragon fan.
Because you love Dragons, yeah. You're not a Seattle Dragon.
But I can have a favorite player. Like, I'm a Miami Heat guy, but, I can have a,
I
Kyrie
can't
Irving
keep
jersey.
myself to buy another jersey. Like Barry Sanders is amazing, but I'm not going to buy a Detroit jersey because I'm Thurman Thomas and the Bills. So, but I can see that. Yeah, okay. And you're in North Carolina, right? So Elijah Hood, he brings
hometown favorite, right?
Speaking of speed, this next guy, he's a missile down the field. The guy's name is Rashard Ross. So the LA Wildcats could be the fastest team. You got the oldest quarterback, but you get those dump offs, those quick passes. I mean, their wide receiving core, their top two guys are impressive. Rashard Ross, Arizona State guy, undrafted, but in Arizona State, he was coached by Dennis Erickson. A lot of us know that name, and he just kept improving. He doesn't have crazy numbers in college or anything. He's just extremely fast, and you have to put him in the right situation. And when he went to the NFL, his first TD was a kickoff return against the Giants, 101 yards. His third TD, because he only had 3 of them, his third TD was a 71-yard catch. And his other TD was a scooped-up block punt. He just took it to the house. The guy,
that's crazy.
When he touches that ball,
that tells you fast. Yep.
And then I have here, when he was in the preseason, he actually led the NFL that year in catches, yards, TDs. 25 catches, 266 yards, 4 TDs, 4 preseason games. Second in the AAF in receiving yards, third in catches, first in TDs. The guy knows how to find the end zone.
Yeah, that's a nice little tidbit there. Rashard Ross, remember that name?
A lot of people have him ranked number 1 overall in fantasy for the entire entire XFL. Wow. So, I mean, Rashard Ross was he's one of the top picks.
Cool. All right, then you also have Nelson Spruce.
Have you ever heard of Nelson Spruce?
Can't lie. No, I never heard of him.
So here in Colorado, I'm new to Colorado. I've only been here 6 months, so sorry. But Spruce is a Colorado guy. He played for the Buffaloes, and they love him here. He led the Buffaloes in receptions as a freshman. And in his junior season, he set 31 school records, a Pac-12 record. He had 19 catches in a game. The dude had an amazing collegiate career, and he's the number 2 on this team. So when we talk about how college and the XFL, possibly the same type of talent in a way, this guy was amazing in college. I mean, he set or tied 43 school or conference records, and he just got injured. He went to the Rams. He got injured, and the very next year they drafted Cooper Kupp. I mean, it's Cooper Kupp. You have Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. Who's a speedster? I can't think right now. Cooks.
Yeah, Cooks. Yeah.
Yeah. So Cooks, and how are you going to break that? You have to be amazing, which he was amazing in college, but it's a whole different level in the NFL. Crazy thing is he was second in the AAF in catches, 5th in yards, and 5th in touchdowns. So you have second in the AAF in catches and 3rd in catches on this team. You have 2nd in yards, 5th in yards, 1st in TDs, 5th in TDs. Like, these wide receivers have played with, you can argue that they played with the same sort of talent in the AFF, and they succeeded.
Yep.
You put them together, the LA Wildcats might be a team.
Might be a team. All right. We have 2 more teams. The second to last one is the Houston Roughnecks. Head coach is June Jones. There's really not a ton to say about June Jones, except that he has a pretty cool name. He does have a quarterback named Philip Walker, set 7 school records in Temple. What do you know about him?
Other than he set 7 school records, I know that he led the team to the first conference title in 49 years, dual threat QB, over 10,000 yards passing, 74 TDs. I thought that was a lot when I was reading that. He gained over almost 800 yards, 9 TDs on the ground. Was on the Colts practice squad quickly, and then that was it.
All right. We have running back Andrew Williams and wide receiver Sammy Coates, another ex-Pittsburgh Steeler, right?
Yes. Yeah, ex-Pittsburgh guy and ex-Giants. Andre Williams.
Yeah.
That guy, Andre Williams, I remember he was really good too. He was a 4th in Heisman voting. So he had 721 yards as a rookie and 7 TDs on the Giants. The guy can play in the NFL. He might be the dark horse that people don't really remember. I pick him. I think I'm picking Andre Williams as the best. He's going to have the best year in running backs.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be my guy against yours.
Yeah, we're going to go with Andre Williams. I just pulled that out. I just pulled that out of my hat right now.
Yeah, that's what we do. We pull stuff out of our hats. KJ, that is let's see. That is what
we got one more team.
That's what we do.
Your
All
team.
right, one more team. My team. Go Dragons. Head coach Jim Zorn. He helped Matt Hasselbeck as a Seahawk. Flacco credits Zorn for his career of 25 touchdowns with only 10 interceptions. And look, if Flacco is saying anything good about you, that's probably bad.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that when I wrote it. I was like, man, Flacco, yeah, he credits him. And then I was like, Flacco's not that good.
Yeah, when you have like the worst quarterback in the NFL saying like, this guy is who made me. Like that guy's probably like, no.
He's saying this guy helped me have my best year.
Yeah.
I mean, he had one of them. Flacco had. I mean, you have to have a good year to. You don't have to have a good year to win a Super Bowl. I mean, Manning didn't his last year.
Manning.
So
yeah, exactly.
Well,
anyways, we have
take it how you will.
Brandon Silvers is a quarterback for Jim Zorn. He's a pretty good quarterback. He had a quarterback rating of 135.8.
Yeah, for Troy University. Yeah,
that's
dude
nuts.
Can sling it.
Yeah, played in the AAF. Not really too much to say about that, but do you like Brandon Silvers?
I don't really know him. He never signed to an NFL contract, like you said. He was AFF. We all know Zach Mettenberger.
Yeah,
he took the starting job from him. I believe Zach possibly got injured. I don't know, but I know he took over the starting job. And if he started the full season, he was on pace to be a top 3 quarterback in almost every statistical category in the AAF. And he did they're talking about him. You go to XFL.com, you'll see there are articles on Brandon Silvers and how good he is. So,
KJ,
I have no idea.
KJ, you could take the starting job from Zach Mettenberger.
Probably. probably.
They have a couple good running backs. We know both of these guys, Trey Williams and Kenneth Farrow.
I know Kenneth Farrow.
You don't know Trey Williams?
I don't know. It's weird because he's 6 NFL teams, CFL, AAF.
Again, I don't know. This is one of the guys' names that I was telling you in the beginning, like going through these names, like don't know him. Oh yeah, this is one of the guys. Like yes, I've definitely know him, but yeah, I don't have memories, but I do know of Trey Williams for sure.
I remember people. There's 2 guys wanting to draft him in our league, and they were happy to have him. So I mean, he had to be something. But he's it's weird. So when I saw this, I don't know if he's the starter or not. I thought he was named the starter ahead of Kenneth Farrow. Yet Kenneth Farrow was the starter ahead of him on the AAF team they had. They were together, and Farrow. I already moved on to Trey Williams. I don't really know him that well, so I do know Farrow though, and I mean he had some decent stints in San Diego, and he played behind Melvin Gordon, Danny Woodhead, Brandon Oliver. Let's see, in the AF alone, he led second in rushing taps, second in yards, third in TDs. I think he'll do just fine. Trey Williams, the reason why I wouldn't pick him over a guy like Andre Williams or maybe Elijah Hood is because he does have Trey Williams. So I'm not going to pick Farrow as the top back because he's going to be it's going to be a big committee here.
Williams is a little bit older. He's 27. He played for the Cowboys, Patriots, Dolphins, and Colts, and Steelers, and then the San Antonio Commanders. Doesn't have a lot of experience, but he's been on those teams. He was an undrafted free agent in 2015, so that's why I probably know him because he was on the Dolphins roster at some point.
There you go.
All right. Then we have a wide receiver, Kason Williams.
On our list, yeah.
Yeah.
Kason Williams. Let's see. He won
He's a
National
badass high school player
of the Year as a senior in high school. That was interesting to read. I mean, he started at Washington University and up and down career and just never really made it. Went to 4 different NFL teams and moved on to the XFL.
There you go. So go Dragons.
Go Dragons.
Go Dragons. I don't feel good about this team. But you know what? I'm in for the long haul.
I was like, I feel good for you. Unless they have like some stout defense, it might be a long year.
The defense wins championships, KJ. All right. So that was our breakdown. Let's get to the Listener League because I think we have an 8th and final member of the Listener League. KJ, do you want to go ahead and break down who we have so far, and then we'll announce the 8th?
Yeah, so far we selected last podcast. We have Matthew Tackett, Mark Everett, Jeremy Minute, Patrick Salyers, and Randy Moe, plus Dale myself. And the 8th member who emailed Dale is, drumroll, Dale, go. Oh, I'm saying, okay, Brad Case?
I think so. He has a weird name.
Case. I'm going with it.
Kaes. Brad, thanks for emailing me. You emailed me like literally. You might have been listening in 2 speed because we published the episode and literally like 10 minutes later you emailed me. So I don't know how that happened. But you did it and it's yours.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you for listening.
And we do want to thank everybody, especially in the Eat Nation private group. There's a lot of active members out there, and we appreciate everybody. We're not picking favorites. This was just totally random.
We love you all.
Yeah, we love where you guys are like our children. We love you equally. So for that Listener League, we're going to try to figure out a way to make it interactive so everybody can kind of learn from it. Maybe we'll learn a lot. Maybe we won't. Maybe it'll be a crash and burn. I don't know, but we will. We'll try to do like a public Facebook page. I don't know. We'll do something.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out for you guys.
And we'll be talking shit the whole time, so it'll be a good time.
Yep. KJ, I want to talk about your draft, what you learned, and what others can learn from you.
So, the only platform from what we found so far is Alt Fantasy, and they are still updating their roster. So, if you're listening to this and if you have your own league, just wait. Wait till after the Super Bowl. They said it's going to be a lot better, a lot more. All the players are going to be there apparently, and we were excited because the XFL, we just wanted to get our team. We're like, oh, super excited on a different league I'm in. So we decided to have the draft on a day we can all draft live. 2-minute picks. No one really knows that many players. And as we got into it, I was like, oh, I got first overall draft pick. I'm excited, first overall draft pick. I told everybody that I'm going to pick a quarterback. And if no one picks a quarterback on the way down and back, I'm going to pick a second quarterback because there's only 8 teams. So screw you because it's not fair to me. I have to pick a quarterback or I might not even get a starter. And everyone hated me for that. So long story short, I put like a couple quarterbacks in my queue. They're like, okay, everyone ready? This is the time we started the draft. And I already lost track of time. I'm like a goldfish. It was awful. And I look up, and we're already in the 5th pick. I'm like, holy shit, 10 minutes? How'd that already go by? And I look to see who I draft. I'm like, all right, which quarterback out of my queue did it take? No, I got Jazz Ferguson. Jazz Ferguson was ranked like 10th out of all wide receivers.
Nice.
And they just the website is out of control. They only had 6 of the 8 starting quarterbacks to draft from, 5 of the starting 8 kickers to draft from, and 5 players they listed twice. So
that's awesome.
It's hilarious. So we decided that there are no rules in our league. So we're going to allow the website to do whatever it wants. So there were 2 Trey Williams. We were talking about Trey Williams. One person selected Trey Williams in like the 2nd or 3rd round. Someone else saw, oh, there's still Trey Williams left. They selected him in like the 8th round. We have 2 Trey Williams.
That's
we have
crazy.
no idea how this is going to happen. I hope they stay on the team. I hope they both get Trey Williams.
Yeah.
And have to figure it out. But
that'd be awesome.
So we are going to put off the draft for a little bit, and hopefully we could figure out a date that we can all draft between the Super Bowl and the final, or the start of the season.
Yep. My famous words is, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. My employees at my job, they always get frustrated at me because whenever something goes wrong, they're like, oh, we can figure it out. I just walk away. And we do, though, if it gets figured out and everybody's happy. So, cool. That sounds like a clusterfuck, but it sounds fun. So we're going to do the same thing.
I think I have a backup quarterback as my starting quarterback as a backup. So I might not ever receive points at quarterback. I think I have one starter, which is Jazz Ferguson. Oh, and my tight end. Parham.
Yeah.
He's going to have the most. But then I don't have a defense. I don't have a kicker.
Do you have a quarterback?
My quarterback's a back. He's a backup to Landry Jones. Landry Jones is hurt right now. So for the first 2 weeks, I might get points. After that, I'm done.
Right. Crazy. Okay. Good to know. All right. Well, guys, I wanted to say one thing really quick. If you are really into the XFL and, maybe you want to give us additional support for the podcast, because we're kind of doing this, figuring it out with you guys. So I don't think there's really any quote unquote experts out here. So if you guys are really into digging out, some good stats or, anything to do with the XFL, if you want to help us and join us on the podcast on this journey on the off season or in season for XFL, I should say, reach out to us and let us know. And, we'll definitely take all the help we can get trying to figure all this stuff out. Contact me, contact@eatsleepfantasy.com. Just let me know you want to help and we'll figure out a way to get you guys involved, whether it's writing or, just help show prep or maybe join the podcast every now and then to give your thoughts or views. I think it'll be fun.
No, 100% welcomed. I would welcome anybody that wants to jump on and help us out in any way.
All right. Got any last words, KJ?
I just, real quick, to finish this off, the reason why we are really, other than our love for football and we want to just enjoy this upcoming XFL season, the main reason why we're breaking down players because of that possible next step. So I'm going to go through a list very, very quickly of just players that went from either the CFL, the USFL, the AFL, and did this before they ended up in the NFL. And some of these players are eye-opening. I did not know this. So, all right, let's start real quick. We got Doug Flutie, Jeff Garcia, Cookie Gilchrist, Joe Horn, Warren Moon. I mean, he 5 Grey Cups in a row for Edmonton before he even went to the Oilers and just crushed it on the Oilers. You have Joe Theismann. Never knew that. Went to the Grey Cup twice before he went to the Redskins. Cameron Wake, Kurt Warner. kind of all know Kurt Warner's story with the Arena Bowls. John Kitna, Dante Hall, Human Joystick. David Akers, one of the best kickers ever. Brad Johnson, Super Bowl quarterback. James Harrison, Jake Delhomme, Adam Vinatieri. And the most recent, Greg Ward, who plays for Philly, who at the very end of the season had a great last, 2 or 3 games. And these names are huge. And there are more people that did it and then just didn't make that splash in the NFL, but still contributed. So yeah, that list alone shows you that we can be watching the next Super Bowl MVP. You don't know.
Yep, definitely. All right, guys. That was a lot of fun. We ran, probably just a little over an hour, which is awesome. Hopefully we gave you some, good tips to start your XFL fantasy career. But if you guys have any questions, always reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, @EatSleepFF. And I think that's about it. For KJ, myself, Dale, thanks for listening, and we will talk to you guys next week. Oh, quick Super Bowl prediction. I say Kansas City overcomes a 14-point deficit in the first quarter to win by 10.
I posted the first touchdown on Twitter is going to be a 67-yard pass to George Kittle. Kittle will be the first tight end ever to win the MVP, and he's going to have a huge game. The 49ers are going to win 38-35.
Good deal. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a good night.
Yeah. Eat, sleep, fantasy. You rocking with the best. NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We talking mock drafts, running backs. Better follow the conversation with John, Dale, Christian, and Armando. Screaming Eat Nation. We doing what we like. Tune in every week. Guarantee we get it hype. Fantasy football enthusiasts. I know you plan to be joining us on Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Yeah. Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Eat, Sleep, Fantasy.